and that Brighton would have improved because they couldn't have got much more attacking wise in that first half because they didn't really offer a great deal. They were going to be better, the crowd were going to be on to them as well, so that would have improved them at the same time. But the players should have been ready for whatever Brighton was going to throw at them and then counter-attack that with the quality that they've got. But you know, there was just too many players who were off their game in that second half.
I was always fearful second half. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you go in 60 minutes, 70 minutes into a game, the tank is starting to become empty, and you know they're fresh in Liverpool. They've had a bigger break than Liverpool, so they're the ones who can come out second half and up it a gear. I thought Liverpool first half were at the maximum, to be honest. I didn't see Liverpool going again, and I thought I was fearful. 1-1 second half. I'd like to have seen. I would have felt comfortable had Liverpool scored maybe first 10 minutes of the second half and maybe seen out the game. But once they'd scored, I just thought this is not going to end well.
And it didn't, sadly. Let's head to the Amex now and get some post-match reaction. Cody Gakpo is speaking with our friends at TNT Sports.
Cody, a disappointing result for Liverpool today. How did you see the game?
Yeah, like you said, disappointed. Obviously, we wanted to win, which is important in the situation we're in. But it didn't go that way. It was a difficult afternoon.
How frustrating was it that, yet again, after a really good performance one day, Wednesday, in the Champions League, Liverpool haven't been able to follow that up again?
Yeah, that's frustrating. I think it's happened a few times already this season. So that's not good from our side, and that's frustrating.
Can you put your finger on why that's happening?
Not really. I think if we would know it, then we would try to solve it. But like you said, it happened a few times already. So we have to keep analyzing that and to find maybe the spot that's hurting us in those moments. So, yeah.
How big a blow was it to lose Hugo Ekitike so early on in the game to what the game plan was for Liverpool today?
Yeah, obviously a big blow. I think everybody see how well he's doing. So that's a big blow.
What did Brighton do to make it so difficult out there?
I think they were just being themselves. I think everybody knows how good they can be on the ball. They tried to play their own game, and it worked out well in moments for them.
7 Premier League matches to go for Liverpool now this season, with the aims, of course, to qualify for the Champions League. What position do you feel you're in to still be able to do that?
I think we just have to approach every game that we have to win it. I think that's normal for a club this big, and I think that's also what we're supposed to do in the situation we're in, or otherwise. But yeah, we have to fight to win 7 games.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Cody Gakpo essentially saying every Premier League game, every game now, they have to treat as though it's a final, Jason, and that's all they can do.
When we showed the league table there, it shows how huge today's game was, the impact of a defeat. You know, should Everton unfortunately not win against Chelsea today, then Chelsea go above us. You know, we drop down to 6th place, which we all know is not a Champions League position. But Brentford have gone, Brentford are lingering around sort of the Champions League places, aren't they? But it's brought Brighton back into it. You know, they're 43 now. You know, so Liverpool have become catchable to the teams below them. Whereas had they won today, they're right behind, tucked in behind Manchester United. And you're thinking, like, we could, sit there. You kind of got a bit of a buffer to 5th, haven't you? And it's just, it's put the pressure on even more. Listen, it's not beyond Liverpool's capabilities to finish in the top 5. Absolutely not. And it is a knockback today. But, like Ray, we were listening to Cody there, like Ray said, it's brought a lot of teams into it.
Yeah, it has. And it leaves you in that position, Ray, which we're not used to and we don't want to be in, of looking at other results and just hoping they go our way rather than having it all in our own hands.
Yeah, but even the ones you think are hoping going your way, the opposition could get. It's like everyone's hoping Everton would do something against Chelsea. Now, if Everton win, it brings Everton into it as well. So it's incredible where everyone is positioned at the moment for them top 5 positions. And even we Villa have had a knockback in recent weeks. Some of the results and performances that they've had, I couldn't tell you with any certainty who will make them the positions at the moment. But Liverpool have now, with the players going away in international duty, you're just hoping to come back fit and well. You're looking at Ekitike, and we should mention it. He's been a revelation this season. Him going off as early as he did impact.
Hugely, it changes your game plan, everything.
Yeah, I mean, because he's different to the other strikers that we've got, because he can link the play. He's got genuine pace. He's so super confident at the moment. And if his chance falling in the box, you want to fault him at the moment because he's in such good form inside the 18-yard box. And hopefully it's nothing major and he's going to be okay and he'll be back fairly soon playing. But internationally, some of these lads are not going to go now. Some of the ones that are
There's
not,
a fair few who won't be heading off on international duty. But he looked in some distress as well as discomfort, Jace, which is never nice to see.
The way they walk off the pitch is usually an indication, isn't it? And he wasn't comfortable. It wasn't, he was... There's an argument it was a dead leg. He was really upset, wasn't he? I'm hoping and praying it's nothing more suspicious, because you can get over a dead leg pretty quick and it's not really anything to worry about. But if it's muscular, then you're looking at weeks then, aren't you? Rather than days. But it was a big impact on Liverpool's performance, because in games like that, when they are tight, when you're not playing well, when you're tired, you want as many game changers on the pitch. The likes of Salah, we've lost him today, Ekatike, these are players who can half a chance, instinct, they could just hit it first time, that they can create something out of nothing and they can get you actually back in the game, or they can go nick a winner, with 10 minutes to go. They have the ability to do that, and Liverpool lost two of them players today as well into the mix. So it was just all day. It was a bad day, wasn't it?
It was. We'll quickly touch on the goals. It's Danny Welbeck, Ray, who opens the scoring, but a situation defensively Liverpool will feel that they could have done better with. I
think it's been a problem also. We just don't attack the ball in the box, not picking up, the opposition players. You've got to have an awareness about you and get touch tight. And you're not allowing that player to get a run on you. If you can stop them at source, it makes it much more difficult for them. But that wasn't the case. We've got caught ball watching. Someone's in behind you. You're not jumping to try and put them off. But it stemmed from the two mistakes. When we put them both out for throw-ins, when we're under no real pressure, and they're the mistakes that proved costly in the end, because it resulted in the goal. I mean, it was a good header at the back post to put it back across into there if you're a Brighton fan, and Welbeck's in the perfect position to finish it off. But the worst thing is it's so avoidable. That's what I'm looking at. That's the frustrating part. And I think Liverpool thoroughly deserved to go in at half time, at least 1-1, if not winning. I thought they were well ahead when it came to constructive football, 1 and 2 touch, getting the ball wide. I thought Frimpong was a threat down the right, just the final delivery. And that's where you didn't have an Ekatike in there. When you're delivering the ball and you've not got enough players in and around the 18-yard box to, if not winning the first ball, getting the second ball.
More enjoyable to watch. Sorry, I was going to move on because we are getting some more reaction on the way from the Amex, but more enjoyable to watch was Milos Kerkez's equaliser at the time, Jace,
gamble,
which is immaterial now, I suppose, but what a finish, you have to say.
It was brilliant. I mean, he's gambled.
The anticipation was outstanding for that.
And it was at the time when we responded to going a goal behind. There was a bit of energy about us to get ourselves back in, as you'd expect, but it was a pump down the pitch, wasn't it? And he's gambled and just got in behind. It was Dunk's not seeing him, and he's coming on the blind side. He's continued his run. He's like I keep saying, he's gambled, and then it's dropped to him, and it was a great little Robbie Fowler-esque finish, wasn't it? Ray Alton finish.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to the technical staff who look at the videos of DVDs of the opposition, because I've seen Lewis Dunk do this a few times for Brighton.
Like the little header.
When the ball comes back, he sees everyone in front of him and then he
gives
does the back flicker. But you think, well, there's no danger here. I can see all the opposition players in front of me, so it's a little back flick, back to the goalkeeper. And Kirkish, in fairness to him, as you said that, he's anticipated it. You don't run in there if you don't think he's going to hit it back. If you think he's going to hit it forward, you're already running back into your defensive position. The fact that he run forward tells you that someone said to him, with Dunk, there's times when he flicks it back, try to be on the end of it, and all credit to him, he's in a great position. It was a really good finish from him.
It really was a quite astonishing stat. First time they've scored away from home in the Premier League in the first 45 minutes of a game since Ryan Gravenberch did it at Newcastle back in August, which really highlights the lack of really highlights the lack of first half goals this season. But 2-1, we'll briefly touch on it. Danny Welbeck, it goes to VAR. Ray, what were your thoughts?
I think so. Listen, the angle I looked at, and I'm normally reasonably good at that, I thought he was offside. I thought he was just ahead of Hinshelwood, who put the ball in. But you look at Hinshelwood's right boot, and that might be the only thing that saved him, that it might have just been ahead of Danny Welbeck. The angle wasn't absolutely perfect, of course, but I'd be looking at why is Konate going over the right back position in the first place instead of staying in his centre back position? Ryan Gravenberch's coming back into a central defensive position. He's with Welbeck but doesn't stay with him. He just lets him go, which allows him to get in behind to finish off the move. So these are the little mistakes that are going on at the moment that are proving costly. It's the reason why we're losing games at the moment is because we're not being disciplined, you're not being professional in that final third, as far as sticking with your man, getting touch tight, the little things, but there's so obvious at times when you're watching, but they're so important to stopping goals.
That's the fine margins that we've been speaking about all season, though, isn't it, Jace? Really, sometimes they're their own worst enemy.
I agree with Ray there. I was just thinking about all the other goals and stuff, and we say why a lot, don't we? It's like, why is Konate gone out there? There's no need to go out there. I don't know if it's a discipline thing or he senses danger and he feels he needs to go, when really a bit of communication. I was going to say about the first goal, if you've got an overload on the back post, which they did, there's a lack of communication, because they should never have two men on the back post unmarked. And Kerkez has actually gone forward, and then he's realised the ball's going over his head, and he's never going to win the header, because the lad's at the back stick. He's always going to be favourite to win it. He's just headed it back, and Welbeck's put it in. So I feel there's a communication problem. You know, it's like, no, you don't go. No, you hold him here. No, you get back into position. No, you see things, and it is happening quick. But we train to make quick decisions. Do you know what I mean? And then I keep saying, why has he gone in there? Why has he played that pass? Why has he gone that far? Why is he tucked in? You know, we keep asking why at the minute, and only the players can answer that.
It's not so much when you're watching it develop. Not in the end. It's easy to see after it's happened. Go, oh, why is he not? It's when the players developing, you're thinking, right, hang on a second, why aren't you should be in your centre back position. Should be sending your midfielder over. And the word that Jason used there is the most important one. Lack of that word communication, that's the word I'd use for it. There's not enough talking going on. There's not enough pulling around from the players. That's what it looks like watching at the moment. No one's taking charge as far as being in that defence. Even like the skipper Virgil should be shouting to get back in here with me. I don't want big gaps in the middle of the park. We can deal with it over in the wide area, but in a central position we can't afford to have the gaps that are there at the moment, because ultimately they're proving costly. We're giving away goals by doing it.
Oh, it's a tough afternoon, difficult one to assess. Right, we're heading back to the Amex now and getting more reaction. Rob Jones is pitch side with Tash Dowie.
Becky, thank you very much indeed. Welcome inside the tunnel at the Amex. And Tash Dowie, Liverpool just unable to follow up the quality of the midweek performance here this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a shame. We talked about building momentum, that energy, and I think really from the off, it wasn't there. Sadly, I think Brighton started extremely well. The atmosphere was really intense. The early goal didn't help. Then obviously Ekitike getting injured was a massive blow. I felt then that we didn't really look like scoring a goal. If I'm being honest, I wasn't too much of a threat. Gakpo at times looked isolated, and just all round really wasn't our day today. Brighton deserved to win the game. They were by far the better team.
You would say that maybe is the difference between the two teams, that you've got a natural goal scorer and finisher, and Liverpool without their three best natural goal scorers. Yeah, no, it is. Right now we are struggling with regards to the players that we have out injured, and we spoke about it before the game, and then to obviously go and then lose your main man so early on was a massive blow. Also disappointed the way we conceded the goals. You know, it was really poor. Free header, and then Welbeck was again free between the two centre halves, and I think that we talk about the intensity of the way we defend. The goals, I think, were really poor looking back at that, and then on the flip side we're really struggling to create the chances that we are creating. So yeah, bad day at the office, and we spoke about how big the midweek game was and how important it was to try and then build on that, and we haven't done that today. Yeah, and those words, things like intensity and energy, you could see that was a Brighton team that had a full week's crack at it to prepare. Yeah. We spoke about again the early kickoff, the travel, you know, the amount of work that was put into the midweek game physically and emotionally, and it showed today, and we are light. So then again we speak about it, Alisson being out, key players being out, the bench obviously, you know, we probably couldn't get Rio into the game as much as we would have liked. He had a couple of bright moments, but you know, they obviously did well against him, and I just felt as if maybe the players that came on couldn't impact the game how they would have liked to and how we would have liked to. Yeah, and like I said, I think we reacted well to get back into the game, but overall I think Brighton deserved the win. I think if we had come away with anything else, it probably would have been a bit fair on them. Yeah, Brighton also created a few other opportunities and a lot of joy down that left-hand side. Yankuba Minte in particular had a really good 15 minutes after half-time, didn't he? Yeah. He was the one who set partly set up the second goal.
I mean, we highlighted him before the game. We spoke about, I think it was 57 successful dribbles before this game, so that's going to absolutely be higher today. I think that him and Kirkes was a fascinating match-up. Frimpong as well. Then obviously when he came off, then Jones, he was just a real handful, direct, created a lot. The kind of cross that he put in for the second goal was phenomenal, and absolutely one that I'm sure some of the top clubs will be looking to try and snatch up, and we just couldn't keep him quiet. I think when you look at their key players, your Welbecks, Minters, Gomez, I don't think we kept them quiet enough today, and I think on the flip side they kept our key players quiet.
Is this the sort of result where they might be glad of the international break, just a couple of weeks to lick the wounds and come back and think, well, this is it, this is all in on 6-7 week season? Effectively, it all comes down to this.
Yeah, it is. Right now, it is all in. I think it would have been ideal if we could have come away with something today. Even something might not have felt like enough, but we spoke about the other teams dropping points in and around us, and now we've gone and dropped another 3 and not taken advantage of those teams having dropped points. But we're still in there. We've still got a lot to play for. Got some big games coming up. A bit of time as well for some of our players, likes of Mo Salah and Alisson and people over the international break to hopefully recover. Isak as well, getting his return. We need to get as many people back fit as we possibly can.
One of the significant things, I guess, from now until the end of the season is there's a little bit of control of their own destiny, in the sense that they play Chelsea, they play Manchester United, and they play Aston Villa between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, it is. We talk about not necessarily in our hands, but absolutely is in our hands with regards to we've just got to go and win games now, and I think, like I said, getting that squad back is so important with the amount of games that we have, big games we have, and we spoke about players, the legs did look tired today, but that's understandable because the amount of minutes these players are having to play, and then we haven't got the players to be able to bring on and impact the game. So right now it feels disappointing, but I think, like you said, the international break has come at a good time, and then we have to go again. The fans have to go again. Everyone has to go again. This football club, will fight till the end. It always does, and it's not over yet.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And it's still in 3 competitions, still a chance of lifting 2 trophies, and you've got to find a little bit of motivation, and I'm sure they will not struggle with that to go again and find another level.
Absolutely. I think massive games, and these are the games these players want to be playing in, against your Cities in the FA Cup finals, against your FA Cup, PSGs in your Champions League. These are the games that these players will want to be playing in, and they thrive under pressure. The top players have to. I think it's a privilege to be in these kind of situations and under this kind of pressure, and now we just have to really stick together through the good and the bad. We've been spoiled over the last few years, so now through these tough periods as a club, and fans and as a team, we have to stick together.
Tash, thank you very much indeed. So Liverpool, a lot of those will go off with their countries now for the next couple of weeks. Next up it is the Etihad and an FA Cup quarter-final 2 weeks today.
OK, thanks both. A tough job for Rob and Tash down at the Amex this afternoon. While you've been hearing from them, we have been getting reaction from the boss. Arne Slot is speaking with TNT Sports.
Arne, how do you sum that up from a Liverpool perspective?
First half as an equal game. Of course, it was a big blow for us that one of the 2 strikers that we have available with Hugo and Alex was already not here, and then the other one has to go off after 1 or 2 minutes. That's usually not helpful, especially not if you look at how well Hugo played Wednesday. But the first half, I think, was an equal game. In the second half, Brighton was the better team on the pitch.
You mentioned Ekitike going off, which must have changed things a lot for you. It looked like it was a dead leg, but he looked quite visibly upset when he came off. Is it worse than initially expected, or are you not sure yet?
No, I think the players, the fans, we all know that there's only 8 games to go to qualify for Champions League, and then every game that you have to miss is something you're upset about, and I think him having to go off after 1 or 2 minutes, not being able to help the team anymore with something that is it's just a bit of bad luck, because it's not like he's out for 3 months. At least that's not what I assume, but it's bad enough not to be able to continue, and that's a big blow for him, and was in the end also a blow for us.
It does mean it's Liverpool's 10th league defeat of the season, which is the first time that's happened in the Premier League for 10 years now. Is it that lack of consistency once again after the Champions League, not being able to follow it up with another victory?
No, it's clear that we've lost a lot of points after playing in Europe. I've tried to explain already a lot of times why this is. But today we also have to give credits to Brighton, because I think in the second half they were, as I earlier said, the better team on the pitch.
You said before the match that in terms of qualification for the Champions League next season, you might not need to win all of the remaining league games, but with now 7 left to go, does it feel like they're running out?
Yeah, but that's also what I already meant before the game. What I thought was that you don't need to have 24 points to qualify. And hopefully I'm right, because we're not able to get 24 points out of the 8 games anymore. So, but we did understand, and I do know it, and that's what I also said, and I did knew that it was a final, and I think we kept trying. We were in the second half, we were 2 or 3 times close, but as I said, they were closer to scoring the third one than we scoring the second one. But the players kept trying, kept fighting, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough after a week like this.
So, international break next. How much pressure is there on you when you return after that to end the season on a high?
Yeah, but there's always pressure at Liverpool. On me, on the players, that's completely normal. We've qualified for the quarterfinals of the FA Cup and for the Champions League, and in the league we need to make sure that in the end we qualify for Champions League. But we, as much as I dislike us losing here today, I think Brighton away has always been a difficult one, and it will always be a difficult one as long as they keep bringing so many good players in over here. But there are other games where we should have picked up our points, and where we like last week, being 1-0 up in the 90th minute against Tottenham. That is far more unacceptable than this. Although even away at Brighton, a club like Liverpool should be able to get a result.
We appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
On a slot, speaking with TNT, naturally disappointed, Jace. In terms of the head coach's mindset, because I suppose the players, nearly all of them now, will go off on international duty, apart from the ones who are injured and will stay back here on Merseyside. And there might be a little bit of a mental reset with that, but for on a slot, he has to sit at the training ground, and it will kind of stew on it.
It's a bit of, they've been beaten. He'd love to have them around to get back on the training ground, to maybe talk to them, have conversations, meetings, etc. You know, we can rest them in their own way. Another problem he's got is them going away on international duty. He needs all his players right now. He doesn't want any of them coming back injured. But then on the flip side of it, international break gives him 2 weeks to get the players on the treatment table, off the treatment table, without any football. So it's kind of a little bit double-edged sword, isn't it? It's, you know, but I could see the disappointment on his face. And listen, it's his job to get the team prepared and get them ready in all circumstances. Now, everything was against them. Everything, the time and the travel, the game the other night, everything was against them. But it is his job to prepare them, and you can see that. And there was as much as positivity in the answer, I think he knows he was up against it, preparing this team for this game. It was just difficult, and I keep saying, I said at the beginning of the show, the Premier League needs to look at it from lots of different aspects. Yeah,
as we said pre-match, Ray, had Liverpool been away on Wednesday night, this game would not have been a 12:30 kickoff, but with them being at home, that is the rules at the moment, and they are allowed to do that, the Premier League. But Jason made his feelings quite clear on it.
I fully understand
that. Same sentiments.
Listen, it's a bit unfair, isn't it? And it does give the advantage to the team that's not playing. You know, they've got no travel. The Brighton players, you know, they're prepared for the game. They've had a free week to get out all the preparations right. But I think sometimes with the manager, it's not always been around his training ground at the moment when there's a 2-week break. I think sometimes he needs to get away from it and just rethink about what's going on, and you know, evaluate how the season's gone so far, players that you can trust, the ones that you might, you know, have to manoeuvre around. So there's some key things for the manager to make decisions on, I think. And sometimes being around the ground or the training ground isn't the best place for all that. Take yourself out of it, just sit back, and then have a good think about what's going on. And there's so much to play for. You know, there's still obviously the PSG matches, there's Man City in the FA Cup. So there's still things to be positive about. You'll be disappointed the way the season's gone, of course, in the league. But there's still things that Liverpool can still change as far as winning trophies this season.
All is not lost at all yet, is it, right? Let's get some more reaction from inside the Liverpool dressing room. Milos Kerkez is speaking with Rob Jones.
Milos, a tough day. Do you feel you deserved anything from the game?
I mean, I think they definitely played good, had more chances. So, yeah, we had I think we didn't create much as we wanted, and yeah, I mean, was a tough day, definitely. I mean, you could see some of us were a bit tired also, and yeah, they did good, credit to them.
On that, about being a little bit tired, did it feel like a match between one team who had the whole week to prepare and another one who'd had a big Champions League match 3 days ago?
I don't like this excuse, you know. I mean, we know that where we are in the stand in the Premier League, and we know we have to push. So, yeah, I mean, of course it's maybe a bit advantage, you know, but still disappointed, very disappointed today that we couldn't win.
Having fallen behind, you got the equalising goal. You did really well to see what Lewis Dunk was about to do. Was that the key to anticipate it really early?
Yeah, I mean, ball went back to Georgie and I made deep run, so I know he likes to give the balls to goalkeeper with his chest and to head it back. So I just thought I continued the run, and yeah, he sent him back, and I mean, it was not bad finish, was it? So, but yeah, when you don't go out with 3 points, it doesn't really matter, does it? So
you talked about not creating too much. I guess even more difficult given that Ugo had to go off. You've got 3 huge goal threats, therefore not on the pitch, in him and Alex and Mo, who aren't here.
Yeah, I think it's tough, you know, a bit. Hugo went off early and he really helps us a lot, especially last game with deep runs and the one-on-one actions. But still, I think, Rio also when he came in, he was threat, you know, he went really good 1-against-1, but yeah, it's just day like this, you know, couldn't really create a lot, and like I say, credit to them today.
What was the message in there now that you go away with your countries and then come back and it all comes down to 6 or 7 weeks, still in 3 competitions, and there is so much still to play for?
Yeah, we have, I think, straight is FA Cup, we have City, and then, I mean, big games with PSG, really important for us, and Fulham in between, so all of these games are going to be massively important, and we have to come back fit and ready.
Thanks, Milos. Thank you. Appreciate doing that.
Thoughts of Milos Kerkez there? We are almost done, but let's try and end on a positive. Still in the hunt for 2 trophies, Jason. There's the potential for both of them.
You can't sit back and feel sorry for yourself. There's 6-7 games to go. Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain, what a fixture that is, glamorous. You've got the FA Cup against Man City. You know, you can't sit back and feel sorry for yourself. There's no time for that. So they'll be back on it, and I'm sure, you know, the manager will get it right and the players will, and we'll be okay.
Okay, good positivity to end on. Thank you very much to both of you. No competitive club football for a couple of weeks now, but there is a big event happening at Anfield next weekend. The LFC Foundation, in association with Forever Reds, are hosting a special Legends charity match as Liverpool meets their Borussia Dortmund counterparts. These are always really, really good occasions. It is a sellout already. Over 60,000 will be packing out Anfield for that one, of course. In terms of the game itself, the LFC Legends have won their last 2, so we'll be hoping to continue that good form. So disappointment at Brighton today for Arne Slot's men. The Reds will be hoping for better times ahead when they return to action in a fortnight's time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's possible. There's a few in that pack, but it could be the team that get it.
It's really busy, and it's whoever can be composed towards the end of the season, without any doubt.
Okay, well, let's take a moment to look back at the key moment, because Danny Welbeck had a sensational game. We talked about him pre-match. He scored the first goal and he scored a second goal, and that means he's had his best goal-scoring season. He'll look back at this particular match with fond memories.
He will indeed, yeah. I mean, did he do a lot other than goals? Probably not, but that's what you want your number 9 to do, is be Johnny on the spot, and when it comes to it, put the ball in the back of the net. And we see Van Dijk and Kanate a long way in between them. Szoboszlai can get tight. Frimpong did well with that coming into in the first half, doesn't get tight there, and then allows that ball in. Gravenberch when you've dropped him as centre-half, the very least you've got to do is get goal side of that centre-forward, and he doesn't do any of it. And you see when we just highlighted him there, hands on head, he knows he's made a mistake. And listen,
onside for you?
Well, technology says yes, so I suppose we've got to agree with it. I mean, from the angle, it looked very debatable, in all honesty, and if I had to give it by the eye from the still that we saw, I didn't think it was, but we rely on the technology these days. It was given, and it was a big goal, not only for Danny Welbeck, but for Brighton's season.
OK, so as you've just seen, Welbeck's 12th goal of the season, his best for 10. It means a lot to him. But Liverpool didn't make it too difficult for them. They were sloppy, but talk to us about why. And I know we've got some clips of where it didn't quite go right for them, but it just didn't feel very connected, as we've seen Liverpool in the past.
Well, being sloppy can be a lack of concentration, a lack of confidence. I think it's a confidence thing at the moment. They've been behind in games so many times this season, and then they get a bit desperate. The tempo wasn't good in the second half. Glenn and I watched them going, they're slow, it's a bit ponderous. And also, there wasn't really, although they'd obviously worked on this new system, it didn't seem that they had a way of getting in behind Brighton, it was relying on a bit of genius from Wirtz or Engamoa when he come on. Now, they have got injuries. Ekitike going off was a blow. That's fair enough. But there's still a quality group of players on that pitch who just lacked any cohesion. I couldn't see how they were trying to win the game. And then when they went behind, it became so chaotic. There was so long left in the game. It's fine if you go behind. It's a mistake. They score a goal. Work your way back into it. Build up the pressure. Be probing. Be composed. No, lots of subs. Midfielders getting put. I mean, I thought he took Frimpong off. It wasn't great going forward, but defensively he was looking after Minte quite well.
He did well.
And when he come off, all of a sudden that left side became a problem. Because let's be honest, I'm a big fan of Curtis Jones. He's not a right back. And all of a sudden he's having to put Gravenberch centre half because Konate's all over the place again. And I like Konate as well. I mean, when he's at it, he's as good as there is, but he's so up and down. So the players have to take some responsibility for that. It can't all be on Slot. But ultimately, you know what it's like. If a big club like Liverpool is struggling and can't get results and can't win football matches, and is looking like probably won't get Champions League football if they carry on like that, the manager will take the blame and the brunt of it. But the players some of them need to have a look themselves, because it was dire second half.
And the league table tells you everything. Of course, Liverpool remain fifth, but Chelsea have an opportunity to go above them. They just need a draw because of that goal difference. This is now over to Chelsea, and if they get the job done today against Everton, then they're above them. Well,
yeah, I mean, Liverpool are looking towards Everton for a little bit of a favour this afternoon, later on in that mid-afternoon kick-off. But for me, Liverpool, I think the worry was when the game was at 2-1, and when you would expect, like Danny refers to, a big club with a lot of talent on the pitch. Let's not get away from that, because they are still a very talented group. They lost their discipline and structure. And they were playing off a weak foundation ultimately, and Brighton picked them apart at times.
OK, well, we have to wrap things up there on that one. Because of the delayed kick-off, our next game is very fast approaching.
What went wrong then for Liverpool today? How would you sum up that performance and the reasons for it?
Well, the performance weren't good enough, but you can almost feel like this performance and this result was coming even before the ball was kicked. Liverpool get a couple of injuries to key players like Salah, Alisson, on the back of midweek. The manager speaking about maybe the lack of energy they might have, and then you look at Brighton's plans to come and try and play a game at that intensity and that speed, that energy, and Brighton deserved the win overall.
And a big opportunity missed, Peter, to go into the top four for Liverpool today.
Yeah, it was, and I think it was really important for them to kick on again. But the worst thing about it was we kind of called it before the game. We thought it'd be a problem for them, Brighton, today.
Well, it's time to make your choice now, because if you want more reaction from the Amex today to that Brighton win over Liverpool, stay with us on. Congratulations, that was a brilliant team performance. How did you manage to get the victory over Liverpool today?
Before the game, the coach told us the only thing we can win this game is intensity, and then we stay with that. We play as a team, and then everybody give 100%. Now, we get the 3 points, and I'm happy here.
4 wins in 5 games for Brighton now. How have you managed to turn that form around recently?
Yeah, the starting of the season was difficult for us, but we keep going and then keep fighting, because we know it's not easy. It's the Premier League. You can start bad, but you can end up playing good in the end of the season, which we're doing. So I think we just keep this intensity, keep going like this, and at the end of the season we see where we are.
You had a great performance today. You looked to be causing havoc out there. What was that battle like with Jeremy Frimpong?
Yeah, the starting of the game, it was difficult for me because he's also fast like me. So it wasn't an easy game. I got a yellow, but still I tried to keep going like the way I started. So yeah, I'm happy now. We got 3 points. That's all matters.
And just finally, this moves Brighton to 8th in the Premier League table. Those outside hopes of Europe, do they genuinely feel like they could be real now?
Yeah, we just gotta keep going like this until it's at the end of the season, because we know there's still chance. And if we keep fighting like this, there's a big hope that we can make it to Europe.
Well done today. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jules. Danny Welbeck has just been getting his flowers off the Brighton fans as well. He's just handed his shirt over to one lucky supporter.